Well, good day, my friends. It's your old pal Jordan the Lion, and we are back in Roscoe, Illinois with another fun video from Historic Auto Attractions. Daze with Jordan the Lion begins now. Truly one of my favorite museums across the country. Historic Auto Attractions take a journey through time. Well, today we're going to look at some of Jackie's clothing. She was known as being quite the fashionable First Lady, and some other Kennedy memorabilia here at Historic Auto Attractions. There's just so much here. If you're not paying attention, you can miss a lot. So in this little nook, they have a ton of clothing that was designed for Jackie. So these are all Lily Ann's. Do the best I can anyway. They have about 8 different outfits that were designed for her by Lily Ann. And so these are all of those. Very nice stuff, of course. I mean, that's why she was so beloved. She was a, fresh face, young face in politics, being a first lady who wasn't like the age of your grandmother. All of these. And then here in a case with a mannequin of Jackie, this was Jackie's personal evening gown, and they do have a photo of her wearing it. Seen some better days. It's got a little bit of aging and discoloration up here on the what would be her left side and around the top, and a little bit of wear. But here, and the information behind the mannequin said Jackie's love of fashion was well known, and her lengthy trips to Europe and studies at the Sorbonne in Paris enabled her to see and learn about European style. Oleg Cassini designed over 300 different outfits for her. So let's take a look at what Oleg designed. There's another photo of her wearing that pink gown. So these were all made by Oleg Cassini. I suspect, Jackie had the same presence about her that people loved about Princess Diana. The youth and kind of the vibrance, the style. That one's very nice, very unique. Like I said, they have a lot of lights because this is a big museum, so I'm trying to do my best to keep my shadow and my reflection out so that you can get a good, accurate look at these. Kind of a Little Red Riding Hood look there to it. So there they have about 8 or 9 Oleg Cassinis. There's Rose Kennedy with a letter from Rose and signed by Rose. It says that's a Navy SEAL, was brought to the Oval Office and given to John F. Kennedy in 1961, but was placed in storage, later became surplus property. Here they have his Lord Elgin watch, John F. Kennedy's watch. Wow, that's cool. It says he gave this watch as a gift to Jackie's secretary, Mary Gallagher. And there's one of the inauguration coins. This is some of the bumper stickers that were presented to John F. Kennedy. And it says this envelope was removed from his desk on November 23rd, 1963. Here's a brown leather eyeglass case. It was removed from JFK's desk on Air Force One by an attendant at the direction of Lyndon Johnson while en route from Love Field to Andrews Air Force Base on November 22nd, 1963. The next morning it was taken to the Oval Office, from whence it was removed to the Executive Office building along with the rest of Kennedy's belongings. I mean, they do have to, new president and everything, but man, that feels harsh, doesn't it? And then this is kind of fascinating. That's a bunch of swatches from John Kennedy's suit patterns. These were sent at his request by his tailor so that he could order the suits to be made in accordance to his measurements. So these were his actual personal swatches to make his decisions from. And then they have JFK's golf ball, President Kennedy's golf ball, and some of his golf tees. And on the golf ball, it's a little hard to see, but it does say Mr. President John F. Kennedy. There you can see it a little better. And there he is golfing. And then this campaign hat over here, that was his actual campaign hat. He wore that in 1960, Baltimore, Maryland. This wood piece is from his inaugural platform. And then that is an invitation to the inaugural ball of John F. Kennedy. Here was his dictaphone, the earpiece, and the belt for it. Used by President and his personal secretary, Evelyn Lincoln. And there's some more pieces of it. There you can see him using it in there. And there you can see it on his desk in that photo back there. John F. Kennedy's fedora, made for him by Harry Roenick. And they have a photo in here that shows what the tag would look like. And there he is wearing it. And then they have some of his shoes that he wore at the inauguration. His license plate. And then one of his suit jackets. Actually, that's his tuxedo jacket. And then this says this bunting was used over the inaugural platform at the inauguration, John F. Kennedy in 1961. There he is on our currency. Oh wow, that is upholstery from the blood-stained limo. Look at that. Look at that piece over there. You can see the remnants. This is the paperwork for the contents of his briefcase that he had with him when he was assassinated. And then down here they have one of the scripts from Oliver Stone's JFK movie. And the press kit starring Kevin Costner. The glasses right here, it said, were worn by Evelyn Lincoln, who we saw over there was President Kennedy's secretary. She wore these while on Air Force One as President Johnson was being sworn in. And it says you can see her in the background, very slightly between Johnson and Jackie. So I'll zoom in so you can see her glasses. Those are these glasses. That's the Jack from Kennedy's limo that he was assassinated in. And here are the contents of John F. Kennedy's secretary, Evelyn Lincoln's purse. But she was with the motorcade that day. That's the medical bag that Dr. Berkeley, who was Kennedy's personal physician, had with him in Dallas that day. Then, of course, if you haven't seen the video where I showed all of the Oswald and other things connected to the Kennedy assassination, they have the most accurate limo to the one that he was killed in right here. It's been in 11 documentaries, and even the one that he was killed in has been taken apart, repainted, doesn't even look the same. This is the only one that looks exactly the way it did the day that he was assassinated. So it's kind of interesting to come see that. And then behind it, if you didn't see that other video, they have the Secret Service car that was behind his limo. So this was the actual car that day, right behind him, with the running boards and everything. And so if you're interested in more Kennedy stuff than what I showed in this video, there's a lot more here at Historic Auto Attractions, but I included it in its own video, kind of more focusing on the assassination. And today's was kind of more about the people, Jackie and John themselves and some of their belongings. You guys have enjoyed seeing all this stuff. Pretty amazing to me what they have here. Pretty amazing the experience they give. Well, my friends, I hope you enjoyed our day today and our focus of the Kennedys. We will see you next time. Have a great night and goodbye.